Thanks for the laugh. And for having done more than enough.
What I did as a newspaper man.
I just want to be alone.
You're going to be very much alone, my dear madame. This is the end.
Why don't you show him that you love him?
Well, Aaron, I've tried that.
20 Hollywood legends had affairs that nearly destroyed their careers. Rock Hudson married his agent's secretary to Silence Confidential magazine that had photographs of him with actor George Nader. Cary Grant and Randolph Scott shared a bed for 10 years. Studio photographers captured everything. Paramount forced Grant into a fake marriage within weeks. Montgomery Clift's car crash wasn't an accident. It was cover for his breakdown after MGM threatened to expose his relationships with men. The studio system didn't just hide these affairs, they weaponized them. Fake marriages became contracts. Love became blackmail material. 20 stars, 20 secrets that could end everything. So let's get into it. The year is 1932. A young man walks into Paramount Studios. His name, Archie Leach. But when he walks out, Archie Leach has vanished forever. In his place stands Cary Grant, the perfect leading man. Handsome, charming, completely fake. This transformation wasn't magic, it was business. Cold, calculated business. Studio executives understood one simple truth. Image was everything. And if your real image didn't sell tickets, well, they'd create a new one. Grant lived with fellow actor Randolph Scott. They shared a Malibu beach house, cooked together, relaxed by the pool, took vacations as a pair. The press called it Bachelor Hall, but Paramount's publicity machine saw danger. Whispers were starting, rumors were spreading, so they acted fast. Grant was married to actress Virginia Cherrill within months. The marriage, it lasted less than a year, but it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It stopped the talk. For now. This wasn't just about one actor's private life. This was Hollywood inventing its greatest magic trick, the art of making truth disappear. But Grant's story was just the beginning. If Cary Grant showed Hollywood how to build the perfect star, Montgomery Clift revealed what happened when that star began to crack. He arrived in 1946 with something revolutionary: method acting, real emotion, raw truth. Everything Hollywood claimed to want. But there was a problem. Clift's truth was exactly what MGM needed to hide. His relationships with men, his emotional honesty, his refusal to play the Hollywood game. Studio executives saw his talent. They also saw the danger. So they tried the same trick that worked with Grant. Control the narrative, manage the image, force the performance. But Clift wasn't Grant. He couldn't separate his authentic self from his professional persona. The method required truth. The studio demanded lies. The pressure was immediate, devastating. Friends watched him fracture in real time, living multiple lives. The public heartthrob dating starlets. The private man desperately seeking real connection. The system that created perfect stars was now consuming one, piece by piece. When Clift crashed his car in 1956, Hollywood blamed his problems on physical injuries, but those close to him knew better. The real damage had started years earlier. The studio system wasn't just hiding secrets anymore. It was destroying the people who kept them. While Montgomery Clift was being destroyed by forced performance, one woman had figured out a different game entirely. Greta Garbo understood something that took Hollywood decades to learn. Sometimes the most powerful performance is refusing to perform at all. MGM faced a unique challenge with their Swedish star. Her beauty was otherworldly, her talent undeniable. But her private letters to women like Mercedes D'Acosta, her documented relationships, these created constant panic in the executive suites. Their solution was brilliant. They turned her secrecy into her selling point. "I want to be alone" became more than a movie line. It became brand strategy. Every mysterious retreat from public life generated more headlines than any interview ever could. But here's what the public never saw. Behind the mystique was a woman trapped by her own protection. Garbo's letters reveal crushing loneliness, inability to form authentic relationships. The very system that made her famous had also made her a prisoner. The pattern was becoming clear. Hollywood's biggest stars were also its most isolated inmates. And if Garbo showed how isolation could be monetized, the next story would reveal how even genuine friendship could become just another lie. Enter Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. Their 27-year relationship became Hollywood legend. The ultimate love story, except it wasn't. Not really. It was Hollywood's most sophisticated cover-up. A genuine friendship weaponized to hide two separate truths. Hepburn's relationships with women were documented. Laura Harding, Phyllis Wilburn. Deep, lasting connections that studio publicists quickly labeled devoted friendships. Her refusal to play by Hollywood's feminine rules initially worried RKO executives. Then Tracy appeared. Suddenly, every problem had a solution. The Tracy romance was perfect. Both actors got cover for relationships that could end their careers. Their on-screen chemistry sold millions of tickets. Their off-screen affair satisfied gossip columnists. Everyone won, except for the truth. The tragedy wasn't that their friendship was fake. It was real, genuine, deep, but it had been turned into performance art. Another role to play, another secret to protect. The system wasn't just manufacturing stars anymore. It was manufacturing entire mythologies. And if Hepburn and Tracy showed how friendship could become cover, Tracy's individual story revealed something even darker. How the system could trap a man between his faith, his career, and his soul. Spencer Tracy's story cuts to the bone. Here was a devout Catholic facing an impossible choice: his faith, his career, his authentic self. MGM executives understood his dilemma perfectly, and they exploited it ruthlessly. They marketed Tracy as America's moral center, the everyman, the father figure. Meanwhile, they carefully managed rumors about his relationships with men like director George Cukor. His marriage to Louise Treadwell provided social cover, but the guilt was eating him alive. Tracy's legendary drinking wasn't just Hollywood excess. It was self-medication for a man living a lie that contradicted everything he believed. The relationship with Hepburn offered refuge, someone who understood the performance, but even that became another deception to maintain. The Catholic Church's influence on Hollywood made Tracy's situation deadly. Any exposure meant career death, possible criminal prosecution, social destruction. The studio system wasn't just demanding professional compliance anymore. It was legislating human identity. But if Tracy showed how the system could torture a man's soul, the next story would reveal their ultimate creation. A star so perfect, so completely manufactured, that he became the gold standard for leading men everywhere. By the 1950s, Hollywood had perfected its deception techniques, and Rock Hudson became their masterpiece. Universal Studios transformed Roy Scherer into everything American women wanted in a man. Tall, handsome, strong, completely completely fake. When Confidential magazine threatened exposure in 1955, Universal moved fast. Hudson was married to Phyllis Gates within months, his agent's secretary. The wedding was a media circus, exclusive interviews, romantic photographs, perfect Hollywood fairy tale. Behind the scenes, Hudson continued his relationships with men. Actor George Nader, publicist Mark Miller. The strain was enormous, but so were the rewards. Hudson became one of Hollywood's highest-paid actors, the perfect masculine ideal. The irony was cruel. The man who epitomized heterosexual romance was living a completely different reality. One photograph could destroy everything. One angry ex-lover could end it all. But the conspiracy of silence held. For decades, Hollywood had created the perfect leading man by forcing him to deny everything human about himself. But if Hudson showed how the system could manufacture masculinity, the next story would prove they could also market rebellion. While Rock Hudson was trapped by masculine perfection, Marlene Dietrich found freedom through carefully managed rebellion. Paramount discovered something revolutionary. Sometimes the best way to hide truth is to sell it as sophisticated entertainment. Dietrich's relationships with both men and women were reframed as European artistry. Her famous tuxedo appearances suggested ambiguity without threatening anyone. The studio packaged gender bending as exotic sophistication, dangerous enough to be exciting, safe enough to be profitable. This gave Dietrich freedoms other performers could only dream of, but even her rebellion had strict boundaries. Her relationships were tolerated only while they enhanced her commercial appeal. The moment her personal life threatened her professional image, studio interference would follow immediately. Dietrich's success proved the system could accommodate certain nonconformity, but only when it could be packaged as entertainment for heterosexual audiences. The rebellion was real, but it was also completely controlled. And if Dietrich showed how rebellion could be monetized, the next story would reveal what happened when that protection started to fade. Ramon Navarro's career taught Hollywood a harsh lesson. Their protective system only worked as long as you remained valuable. MGM had successfully managed his for over a decade. The Latin lover stereotype explained away any suspicious behavior. But as Navarro aged out of romantic roles, that protection began crumbling. The template had worked perfectly during his peak years. Foreign actors were granted more ambiguity. Audiences expected exotic sensuality from international stars. This was problematic stereotyping, but it provided practical protection for actors who might otherwise end their careers. His relationships with men were Hollywood's worst-kept secret, but MGM's influence kept these rumors from the press. The Latin lover image provided perfect cover: mysterious, passionate, non-threatening to American masculine ideals. Then his commercial value declined. The protective shield weakened. His 1968 brought unwanted attention to aspects of his life hidden for decades. The system's protection was always conditional, always temporary, always dependent on profitability. But if Navarro showed how protection could disappear, the next story would reveal how authenticity itself could become a threat to carefully manufactured images. James Dean represented a new problem for studio control systems. Method acting emphasized emotional authenticity, but that authenticity threatened to expose exactly what studios needed hidden. Warner Brothers found themselves managing a star whose appeal depended on genuine rebellion while suppressing the aspects of rebellion that could destroy his marketability. Dean's relationships with men were carefully obscured. Composer Leonard Rosenman, advertising executive Rogers Brackett. Meanwhile, his romances with actresses received massive publicity coverage. Natalie Wood, Pier Angeli. The male relationships were dismissed as artistic mentorship or ignored entirely. The method techniques Dean used required accessing genuine emotion, but the studio demanded he channel authenticity only in approved directions. His performances captured young people's frustration with social expectations. Ironic, considering his own entrapment by studio expectations. Dean's death in 1955 came at peak tension between his authentic self and manufactured image. The tragedy frozen in time became more valuable than the living, evolving artist might have been. The system had learned something crucial. Dead rebels were far easier to control than living ones. And if Dean showed how authenticity could be dangerous, the next story would prove that outrageous behavior could be carefully managed and monetized. While James Dean's authenticity threatened the system, Tallulah Bankhead proved that outrageous behavior could be profitable when properly packaged. Her bisexuality was barely concealed. Her scandalous behavior was legendary, yet studios found ways to harness her talent while containing her disruption. Bankhead's Southern background provided unexpected protection. Her outrageous behavior was dismissed as regional eccentricity rather than transgression. Studios learned to market her personality as entertainment rather than threat, though this meant accepting roles that reinforced stereotypes about liberated women. Her relationships with both men and women were presented as artistic temperament rather than identity. The entertainment industry discovered that certain nonconformity could be profitable when packaged as sophisticated scandal for mainstream consumption. But tolerance had strict limits. As moral codes tightened in the 1940s and 1950s, Bankhead's career suffered. Behavior once marketed as charming eccentricity was now dangerous deviation from acceptable norms. Bankhead's example showed both possibilities and limitations of honesty in Hollywood. Partial truth could be profitable, but complete authenticity remained impossible. And if Bankhead showed how outrage could be contained, the next story would reveal how independence could become the perfect cover. Barbara Stanwyck's career revealed another sophisticated studio strategy, using feminist independence to camouflage lesbian relationships. Warner Brothers discovered they could market her as the woman who didn't need a man. This allowed relationships with women to be presented as professional partnerships rather than romantic connections. Her documented relationships with dancer Marion Martin and Helen Ferguson were managed as devoted friendships. Her marriage to Robert Taylor provided mutual cover. Both faced similar scrutiny about the arrangement benefited everyone while maintaining required facades. Stanwyck's roles reflected this careful balance. Strong female characters who maintained traditional moral boundaries while displaying unprecedented independence. She could be powerful without being threatening, successful without being unfeminine. The strategy worked brilliantly during peak years, but like all Hollywood protections, it was conditional and temporary. Stanwyck's private life remained hidden until after death. When biographers began documenting relationships she'd concealed throughout her career, the studios had perfected hiding truth in plain sight, using progressive imagery to conceal traditional prejudices. And if Stanwyck showed how independence could provide cover, the next story would prove that artistic genius created its own protection. In the world of composers, different rules applied. Cole Porter's career demonstrated how artistic genius could provide protection that dramatic talent alone could not. His was known throughout Broadway and Hollywood circles. Yet his marriage to Linda Lee Thomas and sophisticated image created sufficient cover for his career to flourish. Porter's songs contained coded references understood by LGBTQ+ audiences, but missed by mainstream listeners. Anything goes. I get a kick out of you. Dual communication system that protected while expressing truth, speaking directly to gay audiences while maintaining plausible interpretation. Studios valued his musical genius while managing public perception of his personal life. His sophisticated worldly image allowed behavior that might have destroyed other careers, but only within carefully defined boundaries. The marriage provided essential social legitimacy. Porter's 1937 riding accident added another narrative layer, the suffering artist whose physical pain explained emotional intensity. This conveniently obscured psychological costs of living a double life in increasingly restrictive moral climate. Even artistic genius required careful management to survive Hollywood's conformity demands. But if Porter showed how talent could create protection, the next story would reveal how directors found even greater freedom. Behind the camera, different possibilities existed. George Cukor's directing career provided freedoms most LGBT+ individuals in Hollywood could only dream of. His success created a protective bubble extending to others in his circle. Cukor's reputation as a woman's director allowed behavior and relationships that might have been suspicious in other contexts. His famous dinner parties became legendary gathering places for Hollywood's LGBTQ+ community. Rare opportunities for authentic social connection in a city built on deception. These gatherings operated under understood discretion rules, but they offered something invaluable: temporary space where LGBTQ+ professionals could lower their masks. Actors, writers, directors finding sanctuary in Cukor's home. The protection his success provided showed how professional achievement could create social insulation, but it also revealed constant vigilance required to maintain that protection. One scandal, one angry ex-lover, one vengeful gossip columnist could destroy everything. Cukor's longevity proved survival was possible, but only through careful calculation of every public moment, every professional relationship, every personal connection. And if Cukor showed how directing provided freedom, the next story would reveal how certain roles could complicate everything. Anthony Perkins' career illustrated how a single role could complicate an already impossible situation. After Psycho, the film's themes created unwanted associations between his personal life and screen persona that studio publicists struggled to manage. Perkins' became particularly problematic because Psycho had connected psychological disturbance with sexual deviation in public minds. Studio publicity departments worked overtime promoting his relationships with women, including his marriage to photographer Barry Berenson, but the associations proved difficult to overcome. Method acting techniques Perkins employed required accessing genuine emotion, but hiding his authentic self created psychological conflicts affecting his performances. His relationships with men were carefully concealed through strategic public appearances with female companions. The irony was profound. Perkins' greatest professional success made his personal life more difficult to navigate. The role defining his career also trapped him in associations, making authentic self-expression even more dangerous. When Perkins died from AIDS-related complications, his death brought unwanted attention to aspects of life he'd spent decades hiding, demonstrating the ultimate failure of the closeting system that supposedly protected him. But if Perkins showed how roles could complicate identity, the next story would reveal how certain stereotypes could provide protection. Clifton Webb's career demonstrated another survival strategy: the sophisticated bachelor whose eccentricity explained everything while revealing nothing. 20th Century Fox successfully marketed Webb's refinement as European sophistication, allowing behavior that might have been suspicious in more traditionally masculine stars. Webb's lifelong bachelorhood and close relationship with his mother became Hollywood legend, a narrative conveniently obscuring his relationships with men. His sophisticated, effeminate screen persona was crafted to suggest artistic temperament rather than sexual identity. Though the distinction was often lost on audiences, the studio strategy revealed how certain personality types could find success, but only by accepting roles reinforcing stereotypes about non-masculine men. Webb's characters were inevitably snobbish, pretentious, or comedically out of touch, acceptable ways for non-conforming masculinity to appear on screen. This acceptance came at a cost. Webb could be successful, but only as a figure of gentle mockery rather than romantic admiration. The system allowed him to work, but denied him dignity. His career showed how Hollywood could accommodate difference, but only when that difference could be packaged as entertainment for traditional audiences. And if Webb showed how stereotypes could provide protection, the next story would prove that certain genres offered unexpected opportunities. Film noir provided unexpected opportunities for actors who didn't conform to traditional expectations. Elizabeth Scott's career demonstrated how genre could provide protective cover for LGBTQ+ performers. Her husky voice and mysterious presence made her perfect for morally ambiguous characters. Studio publicity promoted Scott as the ultimate femme fatale while carefully managing information about her personal life, including her long-term relationship with actress Fran Bennett. The noir genre allowed for ambiguity without explicit revelation. The roles Scott played suggested secrets, hidden desires, forbidden attractions, but these suggestions remained safely within cinematic fantasy rather than personal revelation. Audiences could project interpretations onto her performances without threatening the studio's managed public image. However, as film noir declined and moral codes shifted, the genre's protection began disappearing. Scott's career suffered as Hollywood moved toward more explicitly romantic roles requiring traditional heterosexual presentation. The system's protection was always genre-specific, always temporary, always dependent on maintaining commercial viability within acceptable parameters. But if Scott showed how genre could provide cover, the next story would reveal how comedy offered its own unique opportunities. Comedy provided one space where certain aspects of LGBTQ+ identity could be openly expressed. Paul Lynde's career demonstrated both possibilities and limitations of using humor to navigate entertainment industry expectations. Television game shows gave him a platform where wit and personality could shine, while remained technically unacknowledged. The entertainment industry's treatment of Lynde revealed how could be marketed as entertainment when presented through humor rather than drama. His flamboyant comic persona allowed expressing aspects of that would have been career-ending for dramatic actors. But this acceptance came at devastating cost. Lynde could be successful, but only by reinforcing stereotypes about gay men as figures of mockery rather than respect. He was allowed to be funny about his difference, but never to present LGBTQ+ identity as anything other than comedic stereotype. Audiences laughed with Lynde's performances, but they also laughed at the identity he represented. His success required participating in his own marginalization, turning his authentic self into entertainment for audiences who would never accept him as fully human. Comedy was the one space where truth could be spoken, but only when packaged as harmless entertainment for heterosexual consumption. And if comedy offered limited freedom, the next story would show how professional achievement could create broader protection. Dorothy Arzner's position as Hollywood's only female director during the 1930s provided unique protection for her lesbian identity. Exceptional professional achievement could create space for personal authenticity otherwise impossible. Her relationship with choreographer Marion Morgan was presented as professional partnership. Arzner's masculine presentation and authoritative directing style were attributed to professional necessities rather than personal identity. The entertainment industry could accept her non-traditional gender presentation because it served their business needs. Someone had to direct films. Her success demonstrated how professional achievement could provide social protection, but it also revealed the isolation such protection required. Arzner's career flourished, but she remained perpetually outside traditional Hollywood social circles, accepted but never fully embraced. The director's retirement at the height of her success suggested psychological costs of maintaining such careful image management, even when that management was relatively successful compared to other LGBTQ+ performers. Professional exception was possible, but it came at the price of perpetual vigilance and social isolation. And if American-born performers face these challenges, the final story before our conclusion would show how foreign birth could provide different opportunities. Alla Naziimova's career revealed how foreign birth could provide protection for LGBTQ+ identity impossible for American-born performers. Her status as European artist allowed relationships and behavior attributed to bohemian sophistication rather than American transgression. Naziimova's famous parties at her Hollywood estate brought together the entertainment industry's LGBTQ+ community, providing rare opportunities for authentic social connection. These gatherings operated under understood discretion rules, but offered something invaluable: temporary respite from constant performance. Her artistic reputation provided cover for behavior that would have destroyed American-born actresses. European sophistication explained away anything that might otherwise have raised questions about identity or gender presentation. But this protection was always conditional and temporary. As Naziimova's commercial value declined and her foreign novelty wore off, the protective shield began weakening. Her career trajectory demonstrated how protection based on artistic reputation could disappear when commercial success waned. The system could accommodate foreign eccentricity, but only as long as that eccentricity remained profitable and non-threatening to American moral standards. Which brings us to the final truth about Hollywood's golden age system. Looking back across these 20 careers, the pattern becomes unmistakable. Hollywood's golden age created sophisticated oppression disguised as protection. By offering conditional acceptance in exchange for complete authenticity suppression, studios created machinery that simultaneously exploited and destroyed the individuals it claimed to shield. Each performer found different survival strategies: strategic marriages, careful role selection, genre protection, professional excellence, foreign exoticism, comic stereotyping, but all paid psychological costs affecting their art, relationships, and ultimate legacy. The system demanded sacrificing authentic identity for professional success. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.